Be what you is, 'cause if you be what you ain't what you is. This down-home saying has been widely repeated and often cited, I think because it's also very wise. One of the ways consumer culture works is by telling us that happiness comes in being, looking, or having something different. Without product X, we are told, we will not have adequate value or respect or lovability, and forget about sexual prowess. But with product X, you can be what you ain't. A good Ignatian practice when your soul is aligned with God is to look deeply at your most profound desires, for they are expressions of your deepest truth. God's will is for us that to live our core truth. Ignatius encouraged us to trust the truth, but he also expected us to follow through on it. Living our truth is our own personal contribution to the kingdom, as well as a daunting responsibility. It's a question of being who you is. To fail to live your truth is to be something of an imposter, living a life of chronic dissatisfaction, in which you ain't what you is. These considerations are right in line with Paul's way of thinking. His exhortations to holiness are often premised by the fact that we already are holy. We must live lives worthy of the kingdom that is already ours. And it's because we are God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, that we are to embrace the virtues corresponding to that truth. The ought is grounded in the is. Be who you is. In today's second reading, Paul applies this principle to the church at large. I urge you to live in a manner worthy of the call you have received. Paul then implores the Christian community to humility, gentleness, loving forbearance, and above all, unity. This represents the ought, the challenge to strive for something. Then Paul reminds us that we are one body and one spirit. Over the course of Ephesians, Paul reiterates on 5 separate occasions to drive home the point that we are the body of Christ. For the church, embracing the imperative to unity is a key aspect to realizing our own truth. Unity becomes both a gift and a task. And what a task it is! The church has never been without conflicts and threats to unity. And it's failed often, sometimes in small ways and other times more tragically. We shouldn't be surprised, since disharmony reflects the messiness of the human condition. Here are 3 strategies for realizing Paul's hope. The first is to regard the church as a family. We may not like everyone in our family, but they are family. Typically, we never stop loving even those who make us pull our hair out. Second, let's try to stay in the game. Checking out emotionally or otherwise is self-defeating. Third, we must rely on God's grace. While we bring our will and energy to all endeavors, the transformation is really God's, who is able to accomplish far more than all we ask or imagine by the power at work within us. The Gospel reading recounts the multiplication of the loaves and the fish, a great image of what we bring to the kingdom, which is far too little. And it's a great image of what God's grace does with these offerings, which is to feed a multitude. The church is sometimes divided, and it's suffering. We simply must strive for deeper unity, for this is at the core of who we are. And if you be what you ain't what you is.